It is Taco Tuesday, and there's trouble in Trumpland. What do you do when you discuss Donald J. Trump and Vladimir Putin? Putin, Trump, Trump, Putin. What are they really doing? What do they really say to one another? And how much does Trump truly actually trust him, especially over the course of the last couple of weeks? Well, in this breaking story, wait until you discover the actual private phone call we didn't know about that Trump had with Zelensky post the difficulty of about a week ago and this supposed lovely relationship these two people between Trump and Putin have. Maybe not so much. You remember what said in the Oval Office just not so long ago about how much he trusted Putin? This?
Mr. President, what would you be willing to do if Vladimir Putin did not stick to the terms of any deal on Ukraine? Because he has a history of not sticking to his word.
I think he'll keep his word. I think I've spoken to him. I've known him for a long time now.
And then, of course, he lost his mind wondering what the hell Putin's doing. This.
President Trump has now raised the possibility of imposing more sanctions on Russia.
Yeah, I'll give you an update. I'm not happy with what Putin's doing. He's killing a lot of people, and I don't know what the hell happened to Putin. I've known him a long time, but he's sending rockets into cities and killing people, and I don't like it at all, okay?
And then came the July 4th weekend phone call that was supposedly a bad call. But we have no details, really, on how bad a call that was.
President Trump earlier gave an update on his efforts to get a ceasefire in Ukraine.
I'm speaking to President Zelensky tomorrow, early in the morning, and I'm very disappointed with the conversation I had today with President Putin, because I don't think he's there. And I'm very disappointed. Well, it's not, I'm just saying, I don't think he's looking to stop, and that's too bad. This is Biden. This isn't me. This is Biden's war. It wouldn't have happened if I were president. It wouldn't have happened.
Nor what Trump thought of it or what he certainly would ever do, because he's not going to do anything against Uncle Vladdy, right? Well, in this breaking story, maybe when they were disrespectful to Volodymyr Zelensky in the Oval Office, asking him why he wasn't wearing a suit and how come he hadn't said thank you, and all of this other stuff that they tried to run the narrative down this guy's throat who's battling one of the worst dictator leaders in the history of the globe, maybe, just maybe, as you're about to see in this story, Trump has a lot more respect for Zelensky and needs him more than he'd like to admit. Check out this story. Breaking news. Trump secretly asked Zelensky if he can attack Moscow after his quote-unquote bad call with Putin. President Trump asked Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky if Kyiv could strike Moscow if the U.S. provided long-range weapons, according to the Financial Times. Trump privately pushed for Ukraine to ramp up its attacks deep inside Russia on a July 4 call with Zelensky the day after Trump had what he described as a bad conversation with Putin, sources told the FT. In quotes, Putin really surprised a lot of people. He talks nice and then he bombs everybody in the evening. I don't like it, Trump said Sunday in one of his many missives directed at the Kremlin chief of late. The final straw reportedly came after an unproductive phone call with the tough guy leader at the beginning of July. In quotes, I didn't make any progress with him at all, Trump admitted to reporters after the July 3rd conversation. Within hours, Putin had launched another massive bombardment of Ukraine. A day later, Trump spoke to Zelensky, the U.S. president, who used to brag about ending the Russia-Ukraine conflict within 24 hours of retaking office, encouraged Zelensky to hit the heart of Russia with strikes on Moscow and Putin's hometown of St. Petersburg, according to the FT. During the call, Trump asked the Ukrainian president if he could perform the feat if the U.S. sent him long-range weapons, according to the paper's sources. In quotes, Volodymyr, can you hit Moscow? Can you hit St. Petersburg too? Trump said, according to the People. Zelensky was not shy in his response, in quotes, absolutely. We can if you give us the weapons, he reportedly responded. The People briefed on the call with Zelensky said that Trump spoke about, in quotes, making them Russians feel the pain. The White House, representatives for Ukrainian president, and the Kremlin have yet to respond for comment. After a sit-down with Pope Leo in Rome last week, Zelensky met with U.S. Special Envoy for Ukraine Keith Kellogg. The FT reported that during a meeting with U.S. defense officials and intermediates from the NATO governments, a list of potential weapons was floated to Zelensky. The long-range strike systems could be made available to Ukraine via third-party transfers, according to the report. It comes as Trump has committed to sending Patriot air defense missiles to Ukraine. He said that NATO countries will foot the bill before transferring the equipment to Ukraine. The Ukrainians had asked for Tomahawk missiles, long-range cruise missiles that have a range of around 1,000 miles, according to the FT. The report claimed that U.S. officials are wary of sending Tomahawks to Ukraine because they fear a lack of restraint on the part of Kyiv. During his Monday meeting with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte in the Oval Office, Trump confirmed he would send defense systems to Ukraine via intermediaries. There was no talk of Tomahawks or other offensive weapons. Reacting to the news on X, former Russian president and current deputy chairman of Security Council of the Russian Federation, Dmitry Medvedev, said, in quotes, Trump issued a theatrical ultimatum to the Kremlin. Russia didn't care. Yes, maybe Donald J. Trump is starting to realize that he gets played, and actually the art of the deal is always everyone against him if it's somebody who's strong, powerful, and compliments him or supposedly gives Trump what he thinks he wants. Trump gets played all the time, and Putin may as well call Trump his Stradivarius. It's a piece of cake for Putin. And it has taken all of this time, thinking about it, going all the way back to the campaign in 2015 and running up to 2016 and asking Russia to find Hillary's emails, all of this stuff where he actually likes to believe, because he had beauty pageants in Moscow, likes to believe that Putin somehow is his buddy, or that he certainly wants to be Putin. And now he's starting to understand, he didn't solve the war on day one. And maybe it's because Putin is simply not a good human, so that he's making private phone calls to Zelensky to make sure if he helps that they'll bomb Russia. Stay frosty.